Couple notes about Saturday, and then I'll open it up for questions. First off, defensively, I'll work through each phase. Proud of their 10-point performance in the second half, being that the only points they gave up were on short fields. First half, 21 points, too many. So proud of the coaches for getting those things cleaned up and really executing a good number of 3-and-outs. Offensively, one field goal in the first half. We've got to do a better job of keeping drives alive. One touchdown on a 4th-and-long in the second half. Is something that we were able to execute. Nice throw and catch to Alex. Bottom line is we need to be better. We missed a couple of big play opportunities, one with Jensen wide open in the middle of the field and one with Alex in the red zone. Was asked, Nate, by you about the glove afterwards, and the ball had been slipping on him the week before in the previous home game, and we let him use the glove all week. Was not a non-factor in practice, threw the ball well, so him wearing a glove didn't lose the game. On special teams, punt return, we got lucky, started a couple times and helped us in field position. So we did a nice job. Ronnie Scott got out there, another freshman, redshirt freshman that got out there and did one of the toughest jobs in football, which is to hold up their gunners. The fumble punt return obviously hurt. Our defense did a nice job holding them to a field goal in that situation. Punt team, we executed a hard count, didn't get the call we had hoped for, but they did execute what we wanted on that. Rickle ended up dropping a punt, somehow managed to get it off, and we recovered the ball and put our offense in position to score, which led to our first points on the board, the field goal in the first half. Our goals now, we're working to continue to build a program. One of the goals from the president down is to continue to work to build a national brand, and we're continuing to work to do that. I honestly hoped going into the season that depth would not rear its ugly head. I believe that it has. Don't anticipate being in this scenario again, and that's done through building recruiting depth and building strength on our current squad. Also looking to recruit players that are leaders that will continue to lead us as we move into the future. But our plan right now is to do everything we can to prepare for 2 wins. Bottom line, get 2 wins here at the end of the season as we travel to play a tough Middle Tennessee team, and then obviously come home and wrap up the season against Old Dominion in what will be the seniors' final game here for Florida Atlantic. So bottom line is let us execute our plan. It's a matter of time. That's all it is before the wisdom of our ways, our development, and our recruiting shows what we're working to get done here, and that's where I'll leave it. Right now, he's got a sprained foot, and we're looking. It's a 2 to 6 week prognosis. So it really just depends on where we're at there. So right, exactly. It could be the last game, or it could be his last game that we've seen.
So is he definitely not playing against Middle?
Right now, it looks like he will not be available versus Middle unless his rehab accelerates. Ralph, he did play first play in the game. He did not get much practice. He was cleared. But the lack of reps, I'll give Robert a lot of credit. He went out there, misfit a play, thought it was one play, it ended up being another. Robert's played a lot of football for us, and he was of sound mind where he said, Coach, I'm going to hurt the football team. I haven't gotten these looks in practice, and it's happening faster than it normally does. So we kept Jared Ward out on the field, and Jared was productive. You saw Jared get better through 4 quarters, which was fun to see. Parms right now, it's they has a broken 3rd metatarsal in his, double check it, his right hand. He's still possible for these last couple of games. It just depends on, they're going to make a decision today on whether it's surgical or non-surgical.
Is that a club type thing that you have to have on?
If it went non-surgical, it'd be club. If it's surgical, I'm not sure if they'd club him or not. So,
If he gets a surgery, is he done?
No, if he gets a surgery, actually, that may accelerate his recovery, believe it or not. They'd put a pin in it that would accelerate the healing process of the bone. So we just got to see which is best for his long-term future as well. And I'm talking about not just football, I'm talking about writing and those kind of things. So
Would you say that's sort of the same situation that Tony might be in, that he might not be available for Middle Tennessee regardless of whether he has a surgery or not?
right now, that's the prognosis. Right now, the prognosis is Old Dominion, but we're hopeful that he's available then. It's unsure then, and if we're living in the world of hopeful, we're hopeful that he has a great recovery and comes back for us in the middle game.
To be clear, that's Parham you were just talking about.
He switched gears to Tony, correct?
No, I'm saying, is Parham's
situation? Is this that
Misunderstood your question. Yeah, no. Let's stay on Parms.
Is this similar to
Parms is doubtful. Parms is doubtful for Middle Tennessee. Probable for the final game against Old Dominion.
I saw Lucky
Mm-hmm.
on the last possession.
Yes.
And he had his, I think his left arm in a sling. What is?
It was actually his right AC. Yep, I've learned from you. I'm going to write down right and left because you always ask me. He had a right mild AC separation. He is more than probable for the middle game.
And Joe Gold was in a walking boot.
Yep, Joe Gold right now has a foot sprain and an ankle sprain, and we'll see where he's at come Middle Tennessee game. We won't practice him this week to try and let him recover. So obviously bye week's coming at a time where we need it, but we'll see where he's at for Middle Tennessee.
Joe is out. Will Brady go back to center?
That's the conversations we're having right now. We're not quite sure yet, but that would be the most logical at this point. But we're still going to take a look at that.
They also said with depth rearing its quote unquote ugly head, will you start playing more of the young guys because you're gonna the season is winding down and
Sure.
the bowl game is
Under the bridge, right? Yeah, it's a good question. The thing we won't do is pull off red shirts just for the sake of 2 games worth of experience. If there's a dire need at a position, it's something that we could do. But right now, we don't anticipate pulling off any more red shirts. At this point, we'll get the young kids some reps, but we're going to put our team in the best position to win the last 2 games.
Sounds like Gold is more likely to play this week than Tony Moore. Is that the injury is less severe, do you think, or am I kind of over?
You talking about is the question? What's the prognosis on Joe?
I think you said you were going to rest him with the idea of getting him back.
Correct.
Which is, it sounds like Tony were more definite that it's at least 2 weeks.
I would list him as doubtful for the Middle Tennessee game.
More likely to be back.
Correct.
how has Greg Howland been progressing through the substance?
You know, we traveled him, took a look at his hamstring. He didn't practice at all last week. Hamstrings are tricky things, and he wasn't close to being ready on Saturday, so we didn't pursue playing him. We're hopeful with the bowl week and another week of rehab that he'll be available for Middle Tennessee.
As far as just getting a timeline, we did show start having his side effects of his head injury.
During the course of the game, or
Do you remember when that
couldn't tell you what quarter it was in. It was in the first half where he started to feel a little off. So we're going to keep these kids safe. That's our number one priority. We all want to win games and we all want to move forward, but when it comes to potential head injuries or any kind of symptoms, we're going to play it smart. And when you see a kid not feeling well and he has something going on, then we're going to pull him. We're going to do what's best for the kid's long-term future here always.
I understand that, he had sort of, I guess, progressed better than Jay Warren. And yet
Correct.
Still had some symptoms. Is that?
He was he had no symptoms leading into the game. He was completely cleared. We had him go non-contact last week. He went through all the concussion protocols, which is what's called an impact test. I'm sure you've heard of that. We also do balance testing here. They also, declare any symptoms that they've had, and they have to be cleared for several days of stressed activity before they get cleared by the docs. The docs cleared him. When he went out onto the field, he started to have really essentially a headache. So as soon as that headache started to show up, we said, you're done.
What happened did Jay Warren travel?
Jay Warren did not. He was not cleared. He had symptoms show up on Friday.
So there was an intervening, was he having symptoms all along or did those symptoms recur?
Those symptoms were really reducing and then recurred on Friday, not during practice actually. So as soon as that recurred, as we're in there's steps towards someone coming back with a concussion, as he was working his way back through the steps, he got to a position where he was not cleared on Friday.
When did Warren initially get the injury?
It would have been Monday of 2 weeks ago. No, excuse me, Tuesday practice of 2 weeks ago.
Because he was in uniform for the UAB game.
I couldn't tell you if that's true or not. I don't believe that he was. Yeah. Didn't play. Yeah, he was not cleared for that game.
Okay.
Yeah, he was not cleared for that game. That's accurate.
You mentioned on Saturday night the wonderful, sort of the benefits of having experience for these young guys,
Mhm.
the challenges that present themselves.
Sure.
How much do you parcel trying to give the seniors a good, final two games, but also understanding you are building for the future now
Yeah.
at this point with the young guys?
Well, it's both of them. That's what I said to the team after the game. I said, with the bowl game no longer attainable, we have two goals. One, to honor our seniors who have been through a lot. We can all attest to that. Certainly, Chuck, with you having been around, we'll do everything we can to get them to victories, give them a great experience as they finish their legacy here at Florida Atlantic. But there's no doubt that building a program is a huge priority to us as well. So there will be times during practice that we dedicate towards development. Obviously, this week during a bye week, that's part of our structure. But we'll build some of that into the last couple weeks of practice as well. And there will be some time committed to that. But we won't lose any time in terms of game planning for Middle Tennessee or for Old Dominion.
Do you see that one sort of has to be prioritized a little bit over the other, or is there a certain set of days that need to be sort of, or do you sort of go into the games necessarily saying if this is the scenario through this quarter or this half that we need to switch? I mean, have you thought at all about that?
I have. I've thought about it a lot. And really what I've come to terms with over the last 48 hours, that our first goal, you just need to prioritize your goals, right? Our first goal is to win the last two games. Our second goal is to continue the development and the growth of our younger players. So all decisions will be made with those priorities in that order.
Because most of your younger players are playing quite a bit anyway.
There is.
So
Yeah, we've got,
it's not like you're pulling time from
I believe,
somebody to give to
I
them.
believe the number, and I have to go double check, I believe it's, if you include red shirts, we're looking at 12 freshmen significantly playing. So it's good for the future.
Is there I know you said you want to win, but is there sort of, do you have guys in particular that you want to see get more reps, get more game action?
Not with the development piece in mind. Again, we'll make all those decisions based on working to win a football game. Yep.
Is there a point with Greg, buddy, that you kind of shut him down just to keep him safe for next year? Does that enter into it?
Well, yeah, I think you make the decision, is he healthy enough to go out and not further the injury? And that's the decision that we'll make going into a game.
I guess, does he have to be 100% in order for him to go? That's probably a better way of asking the question.
I'd have to refer to the docs. If he's at 90,
For you, I'm saying.
If-
Ultimately, it's your decision, right?
with guidance by the medical staff. So if the medical staff were to say, Coach, he's at 90% and there's no further risk of him further injuring this, then he can go, then I'd say, okay, let's go. But if I had another scenario where the risk is higher, then we'd make the decision to protect him.
I guess when I would look at that is saying, well, if he's 90% and there's a 10% risk of him from it.
Sure.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
am I misreading that?
Again, you're asking me medical questions, and I'm not going to
So basically,
pretend.
if they tell you that he can't further the injury, he can't hurt it anymore, you'll play him.
Yes,
Do you expect to play him this year?
I hope. Again, I'm not a doctor.
Will we see somebody like Antonio Washington maybe pulled over to work with to give more depth to the running back?
Don't anticipate that right now.
Anyone? Do you think you got what you got right now?
At this point, we've got what we've got.
Jake Stewart, see you guy that you'd rather not play just to keep the red shirt on him?
Would prefer to keep the red shirt on if we can do that. Yep.
Is he a guy you think may have a future years down?
Really excited about him. Yeah, he's been a nice surprise. He wasn't in camp. He was not in our 105. Has really done, I don't know if you guys were aware of that or not, but he joined us the first day of classes, or first week of classes, and has really impressed the coaches week in and week out. Andre Kirk has taken him under his wing even prior to him being quasi-activated. We'd have our developmental practices on Sunday, which you've seen quite a bit, and Monday there's Andre Kirk watching tape with Jake Stewart. That's fun to see. That's the kind of culture you want to see progressing here, and pretty excited that Andre was a part of that. And yeah, Jake is someone that we do see a good future for.
Fetty Davis still with you?
Fetty is not. No, Fetty came out. He had to sit this year. Fetty has a child. It's tough for him right now. He just doesn't have the means to play football and take care of all of his personal business. We're hopeful that he might come back in the spring, but we'll see. We didn't have a scholarship available for him. That made it hard on him. So
He's not in school either, correct?
no, he is in school.
He is in school?
He is in school. Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Salt, still with you?
Matt Solt is not. He's been dismissed. Violation of team rules.
Unspecified.
Unspecified.
Joe Henry, I know, didn't
Correct.
travel with you guys.
Yes.
Is there any update on that?
He got scoped late last week, Thursday or Friday. Yeah, one of those 2 days, forgive me. There was a meniscal tear in there, but they're hopeful that that is an injury that you can come back for. They really just went in and cleaned it up arthroscopically. Yes, so we're hopeful. Couldn't give you a percentage, but we're hopeful that he'll be available for Middle Tennessee. I know my wife, she had the same scope, and she was like running around a few days. She could play. She's available.
Use the bye week. Could be
Using the churches.
She's tough enough. Trust me.
Turn the camera on.
Going forward, have you started a game plan for Middle Tennessee Stadium, and what would you expect them all offensively and defensively?
Too early to answer those questions. We're just getting started today. Yeah, so it'd be premature for me to respond.
And also, bye week, what kind of recruiting you guys been going this week? Like similar to the last bye week, or?
Well, we're a little bit limited in terms of numbers because whether you know this or not, I'll give you a little education. It's good for you to know this. You're limited on the amount of evaluation opportunities. You get essentially 42 opportunities in the fall. Each coach out on a given day counts as one of your 42. We've got 6 left, so we used 36, is my math right? We used 36 in the first bye week, so we've really got 6 opportunities left. So we'll target those at the end of the week. You know, we knew this was going to be a playoff week. So we kind of anticipated who might or might not be in the playoffs, and we made a lot of those decisions during the first bye week with that in mind. So it wasn't just blind random, go here or go there. We're on it there. And fortunately, most of it worked out, so we'll be at some playoff games on Friday night, and we'll also be in the schools at that time during the day.
When does that reset? And is it the end of your season?
You talking about the evaluation numbers? The way it works, there's 160 some odd, I forget the exact number, but there's 160 plus in the spring where you can go to any given school twice. In the fall, you have 42 where you can go to any school once. So by that time, you have had the ability to evaluate a kid 3 times. Then when you get into the contact period, you have 6 contacts, 1 a week, 6 weeks. The calendar's a little screwy this year because there's 5 weeks and a couple days to get your 6 contacts. Then you go back into the spring plan where it's quiet, and then
The contact period is a hard date, right? It's not like when your season ends, you can go, and when theirs.
yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't understand your question. After we play Old Dominion, it goes contact that next Sunday. We'll be in home visit Sunday night for everybody. Yep,
Because that's the last week of the season of the actual regular season.
accurate. Yes, correct.
Do you get a sense that you guys are still sort of trying to figure out what the issues are in the first half, or is there something that needs to be reevaluated or changed for these last few games?
I don't. No, it's really, I mean, there's some pressure on Quez. Quez didn't have his best night. You know, Quez at times has given us a chance to win and has helped us win games. He didn't have his best night Saturday night. We didn't protect him well enough. So a couple of times, I think about after we recovered the crazy punt that happened, right? So after that craziness happened, the very next play, Alex was wide open, running down the middle of the field. We faked the power. Mike Marseille, who's one of our best linemen right now, came pulling around, missed the guy. The guy got in Quez's face and tipped the ball. So on any given play, it's just a matter of guys doing their job better all the time. It's that simple, And as we continue to progress and build, those percentages will increase.
I know I asked you this Saturday, but looking back towards the weekend that you had, the evaluation, the sort of
This past
Yeah,
game?
yeah, sort of the film process, and just your overall first 9 games or so. How disappointing was it knowing that this team was so eligible last year, and you figured to bring in some key players that you
Sure.
played, and knowing that that's not going to happen?
Well, took longer than I thought for you to ask that question, Nate, to be honest with you. This is 2014, period. When you're working to build stability and long-term growth, some things have to happen. By that I mean depth showing up. Our roster has changed a lot since I've walked in the door. That's part of the stability and the long-term growth. You could flash pan, quick fix, maybe win a game or two more, but the long-term growth in terms of us having a university-wide goal of building a national brand, I knew depth could potentially be an issue because of some of the things we've had to do, and it has. It's become an issue. The good news is for the future, with you see all these young kids playing and the seniors that have remained fighting the way they fought, we're heading in the right direction. We're disappointed in the record. We're disappointed in not having the opportunity to play in a bowl, but there's a lot to build on.
You're disappointed, or how do you feel about the reaction of some members of Allen Nation, all seven of them, don't like the way the trajectory of the program?
I haven't seen all 7 of those guys and their reaction. I have no response. I've been around this long enough where it's not relevant to my daily work.
It seems like the last couple of weeks you've been offensively reluctant to look downfield as much as you had were maybe at the beginning of the season. Is that just a product of what you're seeing from the defense?
Are you talking about throw the ball downfield? Yeah, I would beg to differ on that. I mean, we didn't hit the shots. We had Jensen. We had that deep pass planned. We had the Alex. We had another play-action pass. Just not executing them as well right now. You think back to the Tulsa game. We had a couple big hits early, which helped us. No, we're still working our way downfield. We're just not executing the plays.
Will this be in some ways the toughest part of your first year? Do you think? I mean, are you sort of anticipating that? You start the year, there's excitement. Start conference, there's the responsibility of that. But now knowing that there is no bowl eligibility left, and you have to sort of differentiate seniors versus young players in development, would this be the toughest part of your first year? Knowing to keep the guys motivated at this
Sure.
point, or to keep them, level-headed as far as moving forward?
It would be a tough challenge if we came in and all we talked about. There's an underlying goal that we have every season, which is to win our division of the conference and go to a bowl game. But how we get to that is what will allow us to keep moving forward. And that's what I said day one. That's win each day, period. Our kids lifted yesterday. We met this morning, so I was a couple minutes later than normal. They were good. So we keep moving forward, keep building.
Andre Kirk got a future in coaching?
I don't think there's any doubt if that's what he wants to do. I think he'd be great. His personality, his love for the game, his passion, his intelligence. He's a kid that he reminds me of someone I was a part of coaching, H.B. Blades from Pittsburgh, who, while he may not light up the testing, in terms of 40 and L-cone drill and all that stuff, he plays faster than you feel like he should. I think he'll get into a camp, however it is, whether it's a late draft or an early free agent, and it's going to be really, really hard to not keep him on your roster. So hopefully he has a future playing for a little while, and if not, he's someone that I'd want to have part of our coaching staff at some point when time is right.
Some of these guys that are coming from the NFL, they're asking about him.
They are, yeah, they are. He's done it, because he wasn't high on their radar. They knew him because they had seniors listed, but he wasn't high on their radar, and he's played his way into their awareness, which is fun.
Tomorrow, you're starting 10:45.
Mhm.
Is it gonna be a regular 21 period practice, or is it just, I think you didn't do the developmental yesterday, right?
That's accurate. We did not, because we got back about 5 in the morning. So
Are you gonna do that, as part of Tuesday, or is that?
we're gonna have developmental mixed in throughout all 3 practices. We're going a little later tomorrow because there's no school, because of Veterans Day.
Get your trash out?
So it's gonna be a normal practice? A normal length practice on
Yeah, it's gonna be. We have it scheduled for 18 periods and no pre-practice. I mean, we're going right from flex to let's go.
I know Parms got injured late,
Mhm.
but for a while there, it seemed like Hamilton and
Helm.
were back there an awful lot. Was
Yep.
that because they were running the ball, the run stop, or was there something else going on?
Part of it was we wanted to get Helm some reps because of some things that went on with Parms a week before. So, just some execution things. So, and Grant, the one thing Grant does is he executes, period. I mean, he's not flashy. He doesn't run fast. He doesn't do all those things. But you can almost guarantee to a degree, as much as you can in this sport, that Grant's going to do his job. Because of that, Grant's been very effective for us. So Grant earned that playing time. Milstead has done a nice job, but Tone has flat out earned with some of the things he's done some playing time as well. So that's both really two different. Tone earning it, Grant being reliable, and Parms not executing some things the week before that we expect.
Tony's another one that film study has really
Helped him a ton.
good one.
Yeah, yeah, he's in there all the time.
If, this is a weird question, but you signed 25 guys.
Mhm.
You can then, you can then give awards, if you have extra scholarship, if you're not at your level yet, you're 85,
Mhm.
you can award scholarships to players who are on your team already.
Long as they've been in the program for over 2 years. Because if we sign 25, you've used all your initials. And if your initials are used up to put someone on an overall, they have to be in your program for 2 years. Make sense? I know there's some stuff to that. Then there's little loopholes here and there that you may be able to find, but essentially you have to be in for 2 years to not be counted as an initial. Like, for example, I had to do some research because I don't know if you know this, Jeremy Falk's not on scholarship right now. So I had to do the research. If Jeremy handles his business the way we expect or hope, will he count as an initial? And the word I've gotten back is no. That helps.
So, yeah, okay.
And speaking of scholarships, what will Jared fit as far as next year?
Jared Ward, again, it's a matter of whether we have the initial available or not, because he would count as an initial, right? And you've got, here's really, you guys can see it, and I'm probably going to miss a guy or two, but Hamilton, significant playing time. Hayden Nagel, Jared Ward, guys that are currently not on scholarship. Nate Ozdemir. Those are the guys that are jumping out to me right now.
Was Nate also a late ad?
Ozdemir?
Yeah.
Late ad, what do you mean?
As far as,
He's done with the membership.
right, I'm saying, but did he come to the team?
He went to Navy, he was gonna go to Navy.
Navy,
and then
okay.
he went to
Right.
boot camp and did-
Okay,
Yeah, this is Nate's second year here.
okay, that makes,
Good.
sorry.
It's okay.
Just to use Fetty as an example, let's assume that he was with the protocol.
Mhm.
As a transfer student,
Mhm.
can they go, is there a different rule for them if they transfer and they're here for a year,
Still have to be 2 years on campus.
so Internicola, if you gave him one this year?
He's on. Nick's on.
Nick is on?
Nick's on scholarship. Yeah,
But any transfer was still has to go through the 2-year process.
correct.
I'm trying to think, is it Winston? Somebody.
Chastang?
Yeah,
No,
somebody
he's-
transferred, huh? Oh, no, it was,
Kelly
Joseph-
Parfit?
Joseph, I think.
Yeah,
He's-
yeah.
Is he still here?
He is still here.
He's been here long, I mean, he's. long-
One semester.
No, it is part-time,
Kelly Parfit.
Those guys have been long enough in that they can't really get a scholarship, it sounds like, without counting against that.
Correct, without being one of the initials, that's accurate. Yep,
It's hard to explain to a kid.
it is. It's harder to explain to parents.
It's hard to explain to an adult.
Yeah, no, it's, yeah,
I mean, you're looking at significant amount of money to pay out to
Yeah.
be part of the program.
yeah,
This is the NCAA helping them out.
right. Not going down that path. Good try, though.
That wasn't a good try.
Yeah, no, you were,
On camera, I'll say it.
yeah. That's, yeah, I just need to know those rules. I'll let someone else debate them.
Way off the topic. Have you thought about the practice schedule for Thanksgiving weekend?
Timing-wise, no. I mean, it'll be a normal week leading up. You know, it makes it easier because easier in that we practice in the morning. You know, where I've been in the past, we normally practice later, and you shifted so the kids could then either eat with the team or go see their family. So we're kind of set up that way here already. They try and accelerate it so kids could get out even a little bit earlier and go eat Thanksgiving or eat with the team, one or the other. Or both. We all good?
What else should we know?
Recruit and develop. We're in good shape. We're on the way.